Yeah, so I'm following this Tulsi Gabbard deal where she now is, turning her back on the Democratic Party. She's saying she was never part of the WEF and they used her photo against, they didn't ask for permission, even though it's been scrubbed since. So they're trying to eliminate it. And now she's going after AOC, who AOC was holding some kind of event, and a couple guys started giving her a lot of shit that she's a warmonger now and that she ran on different principles, and the whole idea of a progressive socialist is that we don't want to go to war. And it goes back to what I've been saying for months now. When did the liberal lefty soy people turn to this warmongering, pro-nuclear war? I mean, you got people on the left that were screaming back when Bush and Iraq and, they were right then. We shouldn't have been there. I'll admit it. Afghanistan, they were always against war, always against war. But suddenly, when it suits their political narrative, you want to go and you want to battle the next largest or the largest nuclear country in the world, another superpower. This is what you want? Do you not understand what you're asking for? Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. Believe me, I know. And so it really boggles my mind. But the interesting aspect of all this is that I look at what Gabbard is saying on Fox News and how she's going after AOC, and that they're drawing AOC. And on the same day this happens with AOC and video gets released, it makes me wonder if her and AOC aren't going to form a third party. Like, there's a lot of talk. There's a couple of people who have been talking about this, and it really makes sense. Because I don't see how Tulsi Gabbard can win amongst, people that are in the know or people that have been awakened. And right now, a lot of the parties moving that direction, Granted, social media, these big tech giants, they still have social media on lock. There's no doubt about it. Look what happened to our YouTube page, our main YouTube page. And then you look at basically like anybody who's speaking truth or an alternative narrative that doesn't necessarily, match with what they want you to know or what they want you to say. And so we're in a situation where the truth can't come out. You're never going to get people to be able to find out before the election if they start banning people. And that's the whole idea. You ban as many people as possible right now. Hit them with a 1 week, hit them with a 2 week. People have short memories. Same reason that you have these politicians like Katie Hobbs that's running against Carrie Lake, stating things like she's not talking politics with people that she doesn't know. Why wouldn't you want to talk politics with people you don't know? That's kind of your job. Like, if you're not going to do your job, then get out of your job. Like, quit, resign, go somewhere else. So that's with Tulsi Gabbard. I don't see Tulsi Gabbard ever winning the Democrat or the Republican nomination under any circumstances. I just don't see it anymore. No, I'm fine. I don't see her ever winning anything as far as like in the Republican Party. So I really think she's going to have to go for a third party, and it's probably going to circle around. Is probably going to go with AOC. It looks like, well, I would not be surprised if AOC leaves the Democratic Party and then joins forces with Tulsi Gabbard. And since the Republicans aren't going to elect either one of them, if they really do want to stay in politics, which what do all people that have money and power want the most? They want more money and power. The fact that they want to stay in politics, I think you're going to see them start to form their own third party, which is going to pull away from people in the GOP that are going to be divided, because listen, there's a lot of sheeple still out there. The normies can't be awakened at this point because the social media platforms, no one buys a newspaper, and even if you do, the newsprint is compromised as well. It's a really bad situation. This is digital warfare. It's a battle, and the battle is raging right now. So I guess the moral of this story is that things are never going back to normal. Life as you knew it before COVID, it's true. Just like Klaus Schwab says, this is a fantasy if you think things are going back to the way they were. They won't allow it. Maybe in some alternate reality in some other timeline, but it's going to take us basically to destroy ourselves as society, completely break things down so that we go back to the way it was before internet, in order to fix this, because the AI is now plugged in. For all we know, it's sentient. Maybe it'll never, ever, ever change because you can never get rid of the AI, essentially. I mean, you'd have to eliminate power, electricity. Like, you'd have to go back to the Stone Age in order to reset this Great Reset, right? And honestly, that's what the Great Reset would be, in my opinion. Not this is a financial reset that they're talking about, but a Great Reset would be going back to the Stone Age. You know, Einstein did say he didn't know what means World War III would be fought, but he knew for sure that World War IV would be fought with sticks and stones. And that's because we would basically annihilate ourselves, right? We'd bomb each other back into the Stone Age. Now, look what's going on in Ukraine. They're knocking the power out here. They're knocking the power out there. I mean, these are the tactics that are used in warfare. Why would you knock the power out? Because the enemy can't move after that. They can't really fight. And then you're going to have internal uprising. I mean, have you never played Red Alert? I mean, the Russians do. They've even made commentary and, you know, they've alluded to the fact that their generals have played Red Alert while you guys were reading books. So they understand warfare, and that's one of the first things you do. You go after the enemy's money, you go after the enemy's power. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. You know, because you can't fight a digital war, and that's what it turned into. It's a propaganda war. So the only way that you can shut that off is with the electricity not being on. As long as there's electric, the AI is inside. The ghosts are in the machine. There's no getting them out. And so at this point, if you really ever were going to have a true awakening or a true Great Reset, and then it wouldn't even be an awakening because no one would really remember anything because all the history would be gone too. Maybe some things would be preserved over time, and who knows, back where they talk about these Illuminati types and the Vatican, and they have, you know, the vault and all this other stuff where they have a hidden archive of like old secrets. We don't know what's in there. I mean, what if they have evidence that's been held so closely to the chest, to the vest, over, you know, centuries? How do we know that this hasn't happened over and over again? Maybe this is just a cycle that we go through as humanity. You know, some people believe we're going into the age of Aquarius, which is the next age outside the age of Pisces, which was faith-based. Now we're going into more of a science-based age. You know, at some point in time, I mean, if you believe in the faith-based, right? Honestly, it doesn't really matter if it's Jesus or God or Allah or whoever. A lot of religions like this, Muslims, Christians, Judaism, I mean, a lot of people are taught that the evils that we're seeing in the world are ungodly and God's going to frown on this stuff. I mean, look what happened in the Old Testament, and the Jews believe in the Old Testament, right? Sodom and Gomorrah. Christians believe in the Old Testament too. Muslims refer to the Old Testament too. So, I mean, generally speaking, these large religions, they all believe, they've all studied that, you know, God is going to frown upon certain things that are happening. And if you don't think we're living in modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, man, you're really not paying attention. Except this time, I feel like it's on steroids. I mean, nowhere in the Bible did it ever speak about AI and this digital, you know, platform and influencing. Now, they did speak of these, you know, financial systems where if you didn't have a, you know, some kind of the mark of the beast, you wouldn't be able to transact and whatnot. But I never heard of like AI systems coming online. And what if these AI systems are being sent from another? I mean, let's just go out there. What if we're receiving some kind of signal from other planets or other dimensions? Because that can be translated, being it's just math, it's probably being sent binary, right? Ones and zeros. And that can be translated into some digital properties that could be, you know, powering, advancing, programming. You have AI systems creating AI systems. You got robots building robots. This doesn't end well. This doesn't end well. You've seen Terminator, but you think that's all fantasy, right? This is called programming, predictive programming, television. People that are listening to this, I know you guys probably get this. Unfortunately, we're not reaching the people that we need to. Information like this, ideas like this, need to reach the normie, as crazy as it sounds to them, because most of them are going to look at you, laugh, and they will immediately, out of hand, ignore it, right? They're going to slight you out of hand because they can't wrap their head around how their beliefs, their truth could be false. And I'm not denying reality. I mean, it's hard for me even to go back and say like, whoa, well, everything we were taught in history is a lie. I don't think so. But I do see that they're changing history recently. They're renaming the forts throughout the United States. So there's no representation of the Civil War era. Well, what are you doing there? Well, you're deleting history. You don't want people to know what it was like once upon a time. You're making your own truths along the way. We watched this administration stand there and lie to us in the face. Biden saying things, crazy things, like he ran on lowering inflation. There was no inflation problem before you got in. He even said yesterday about if the Republicans win, you're gonna lose your savings on your utility bills. Who's saving on utilities right now? But people believe this. They buy this up, just like gas prices are going down. No, they're actually going up. $3.39, and now we have that's what I just saw. It was $3.02. DeSantis knocked it down 25 cents. $3.39 now. It's got to be more than that across the country. In California, I heard it's over $5-6, and that's just for regular. Imagine you need diesel, and that hurts everyone. And no one's talking about that. No one talks about how we're going to tackle the money issue. Biden's got a plan, though. I guarantee you. So you think Biden's a failed presidency? It's actually a success because he's a feature, not a flaw. This was all meant to happen. It has to happen so they can usher in the new stable coin, right? Because it's going to a one world, new world order, one world currency. We have to have all the currencies in the world be generally around parity for this to work. So people get used to the idea that, oh, okay, well, $1 spends what $1 spends everywhere. You see? You kind of got to study this stuff for a little while to really wrap your head around it. And then you start to understand why Bitcoin will never be accepted by the masses. I'm sorry to tell you that, guys. People aren't going to be sitting there translating Satoshis and sats and trying to figure out what 0.0001254 of a Bitcoin equal. No one's going to do that. No one can. Most people can't. You have a society that's being dumbed down right in front of you, and you think they're going to be able to go out there and do divisional math with decimal points in it? Get out of here. You're kidding yourself. Americans won't even accept the metric system, let alone a brand new way of counting money that includes decimal points. Well, you just use the sats. Yeah, right. Get your head around that after they just programmed everybody to understand, oh, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. You won't be able to own one Bitcoin. If things go that way, you won't own one Bitcoin, so no one will be talking in Bitcoin. Everyone will be talking in Satoshis. And that's even more confusing. You're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50 years of programming the masses. What are you going to do with all the older people that can't get their head around it or just refuse to get their head around it? Oh, well, then life passes them by? I think that's going to cause a big problem. You're going to have a lot of people throw an uproar over things like that. Oh, well, they'll stomp their feet. They'll get angry. Klaus Schwab said that the world's getting more angry. Well, it's getting more angry because of these policies that you guys are trying to push on people without their consent. No one asked us to vote on these things. You guys just went ahead talking about they've infiltrated cabinets. They installed the entire cabinet in Canada. Like, wow. Now with Tulsi Gabbard exposing them, no matter what you think about her, I would never vote for her because I don't trust her, but I welcome her. The fact I think she's got balls that she walked away from the liberals, the liberal progressive side. She sees through it. There's a lot of stuff she's tweeting out on Twitter. Is it enough? I don't know. Does she wake more people up? I don't know. She says she's being censored on Instagram. She's got 39% less people are watching her stuff. Whatever. Try being in a normal person's shoes. We're not even getting that. That's good. That's good if you're getting only 39% less than what you were. Some of us are down to like 10% engagement, 5% engagement, 1% engagement. Half of y'all don't even get the notifications. Right? No matter how good I do, how bad I do, it doesn't really matter. Because you're selected, not elected. You can't make it in this digital world. The gatekeepers won't let you through the door. Those days are over. It's a wrap. You have to find alternate media, alternate platforms. And for the normie, for the most people out there, they're too lazy to care. They're too lazy to get off YouTube and go somewhere else, even though YouTube is the exact same platform that's destroying your lives, slowly but surely. And it's not even slowly. It's moving at breakneck speeds right now, speed of science, right? You don't even have to test things no more. You just throw it out on the masses. Once upon a time, they what? Remember Tuskegee? How bad did people get about this? I mean, what's next? They're just going to drop something in the water supply and say, whatever, let's see what happens. You're willing to accept that? You're okay with that? Well, times are different now. Times are different because you got your head up your ass so far with your Wii and your portable game systems that you could care two shits about what's going on around you. The only thing you need to know is when you see a little Google News flash pop up and then you read the headlines and that's it. You don't go in and try to look into the story, and don't come at me and tell me how intellectual you are or how intelligent you are. You might be intelligent, but you're dumb. You're dumb because you're blind to the fact that there's more. You're looking at surface level stuff. And I know a lot of smart techie kids that got their minds are plugged into the meta, that they have absolutely no desire to come out of there and see the truths. And when you try to break it down for them, they think that you're nuts. They laugh at you. They point fingers at you and tell you to go put your tinfoil hat on. Why do you say that? Because you're programmed to do so. But I'm the one. I'm the one that's nuts. No, actually, it's quite the opposite. You're a mindless drone at that point. And I wish there was something I could tell you that was better than that. And maybe these words, being that they're harsh, it's time for tough love. What I saw with AOC and people going out there and letting her know that she's trying to bring us in the nuclear war, yeah, that's exactly what we need. But we need that among all politicians, right and left, not just AOC. It's ironic that they're picking on AOC right now. You already knew AOC was a piece of shit. Why are you going out there screaming at her? You're really just having this realization right now? And the fact that they let those two guys continue to go on like that, it makes me think this whole thing's a setup. Tulsi Gabbard ends up on Fox News with Jessy Walters. She's talking about AOC. How long? I mean, it would not surprise me. And my prediction right now, I see AOC ended up like leaving the Democratic Party or having a change of heart, forming some kind of alliance with Tulsi Gabbard, because now Tulsi Gabbard's a trendsetter. She set the ways. And when AOC realizes that she's getting more love for doing what she's doing than what AOC's doing, AOC's an attention whore, fake arrest and everything, right? And why not? How to Pump Your Instagram by AOC. Remember the stream? I do. All right, fam. Like, subscribe, share the video, and look for our other channels. I'm not going to tell you where they're at, but I'm sure if you really want to know, you'll figure it out. Peace out.